The following presentation was made for Burn Heights Resource Connect. In today's program, we'll be talking about the Internal Revenue Services Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, also known as VITA, through the IRS. Now, the IRS's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, rather known as VITA, and Tax Counseling for the Elderly TCE programs offer free basic tax return preparation to qualified individuals. So, what are the eligibility requirements? Well, for VITA, it's for people who are generally making 67,000 or less, for persons with disabilities, as well as for those who are limited English-speaking taxpayers. Whereas for TCE, it's for 60 years or older, as well as for those specializing in questions about pensions and retirement-related issues unique to seniors. Now, the VITA and TCE sites, they are operated by IRS partners and staffed by volunteers as well, who truly just want to make the difference in their communities. So the IRS certified volunteers who provide tax counseling are often retired individuals associated with nonprofit organizations that receive grants from the IRS. So it's important to note these services are not only free, but they are also a reliable and trusted source for preparing returns. So all of the VITA and TCE volunteers who prepare these returns, they must take and pass a tax law training that meets and exceeds the IRS standards. And so this training includes maintaining the privacy and confidentiality of all taxpayer information. And in addition to that, it requires the volunteers to certify their knowledge of the tax laws. The IRS requires a quality review check for every return prepared at a VITA and TCE site prior to filing. Okay, so each filing season, tens of thousands of dedicated VITA TCE volunteers prepare millions of federal and state returns. So they also assist taxpayers with the preparation of thousands of facilitated self-assistance returns as well. Now, there is a lot to be able to prepare for before your first visit, but once you are able to check down this list, it'll make the appointment go so much quicker. And so you want to ensure that you have all the required documents and information so that the volunteers can sufficiently help you. And so one of the first things is having an original photo identification for you and your spouse if you're married and filing jointly. Examples include U.S. driver's license, employer ID, school ID, state ID, national ID, visa, or passport. You also want to have social security cards for you, your spouse, and dependents. Now, if you need to request a replacement card or update your social security, you can go to the social security number and card and find the best way to do this. They have some information online if you're able to look for that. Also, having an individual taxpayer identification number, having proof of foreign status, if you are applying for an individual taxpayer identification number, and have birth dates for you, your spouse, and your dependents on the tax return. Any wage or earning statements, so W-2 forms, W-2Gs, 1099s from all employers, as well as any Social Security benefit statements, so SSA 1099, if it's applicable, any interest and dividend statements from banks, a copy of last year's federal and state returns, if available, any proof of bank account routing or account numbers for direct deposit, such as a blank check, any total paid for daycare provider or daycare provider's tax identifying number. It could include their social security or their business EIN. And if you have received a health insurance exception certificate, that can also be prepared before your visit. Any forms 1095, health insurance marketplace statements, any copies of income transcripts from the IRS or the state, again, if applicable. And to file the taxes electronically, on a married filing joint tax return, both spouses need to be present in order to sign the required forms at that appointment. And so just to note that availability of these services, they can vary at each site due to the availability of volunteers certified with the tax law expertise that is required for your return. And so next we'll take a look at the name of the site for the locator tool. So if you go to irs.treasury.gov/free tax prep you'll be able to identify uh, the closest Vita TCE site to you. Um, and you will just go ahead and input. We can actually go to the site ourselves. You just go here, you'd see, you type in your zip code. We'll put it in for Burn Heights. Let's say within 10 miles. And we find it. It lists all of them. And so this site is updated regularly between the months of February and April each year. But we see that the closest one is Hope Tabernacle, College Park. Now keep in mind we do share a zip code with College Park, so it might show those locations closer. Um, there's also Terp Tax, but this is mostly led by students, hence the hours. They're mostly in the evening time. There's also Casa that's in Langley Park, and then another location that's in Silver Spring on Flower Avenue, the Tacoma East Silver Spring Center. And so you can be able to use this site to locate any TCE or VITA sites to apply for. And so you can also contact them at 800-906-9887 for any help. And we just want to say a big thank you to the IRS for being able to provide these services, not only within the town of Vernon Heights, but also for the greater senior community.